I want to play a little bit of a game then, because it sort of ties into the draft. It sort of ties into the trade deadline, certainly into the trade deadline, and the first half wrap up, so to speak. And we don't need to put letter grades on the thing, but let me just ask you about some key figures and whether or not, or how you see these players figuring into the Phillies' future come the second half of this season when things rev back up and when we get to August. So let's start with Crawford.
Okay.
Is he going to be here in August?
That's a great question. Like, I'm torn with this answer. I think that the Phillies do want to give him a chance in the outfield. I do. And I think we might see him coming out of the break for a couple weeks. But I also do think his name is in play to be moved before the deadline. So that's the interesting thing. Like, to answer your question, I don't think I can give you an answer if he's here in August. I think it's 50-50, really, and I would hedge by saying that.
Okay.
Do I think we see him? I do think we see him, but I think it's before August 1st.
Okay, let me give you one that I think is easier, but maybe it's not. What is Max Kepler here on August 1st?
No. I think yesterday was incredible.
You think the writing was on the wall this weekend, him getting pinch hit for on Saturday night and then not playing against Phightin yesterday?
It starts with him batting 8th in the lineup. When you're flipping him for Bryson Stott, who can't hit at all right now, right, and putting Max Kepler, who's a veteran, we've talked about this a million times, how the Phillies are very cognizant of not batting their veteran players 8th because it's like a respect thing. And here's a guy with a lot of years in the league who all of a sudden gets dropped to the 8 hole in one game, doesn't hit in his a couple of opportunities, gets pinch hit for in the game, and then doesn't start the next day against a right-hander. I think that's the writing on the wall. I think we've seen the last of Max Kepler.
All right, so now we're getting a little bit closer. I agree with you, by the way, on that.
Yeah.
Does that mean that we're getting a Brandon Marsh, Otto Kemp platoon in left field coming this August?
If you don't, so if
because they're either going to acquire a center fielder or Crawford is going to become the center fielder. Yes.
Yes. But here's the thing. Do I think if you're bringing up Crawford to play center field, what purpose does Johan Rojas serve at that point? I mean, seriously,
you're asking the wrong guy.
No, but Johan Rojas currently serves the purpose of defensive replacement pinch runner. That's really what he is. If you're bringing up Crawford, not that Crawford's like some elite defensive center fielder, but he's better than Brandon Marsh. Are you subbing out Crawford to put in Rojas? Like, I think that's a little redundant. So I still think there's room for another right-handed outfield bat in some, even if it's a bench type player, to be added to this team. It may not be. So either you're going to stick with Marsh and Rojas in center, or you're getting rid of Kepler. Marsh is going to left, and he's going to platoon with Kemp. Whatever it ends up being, the opposite position is going to be added as a right-handed batter in some capacity. That's what I think is going to happen. But it may not be. It's not going to be a star.
Okay. Marsh here, or do you think that Marsh is actually a guy that's in play? We've talked about this. Like, this is what, and certainly every conversation is going to be different. One team might be really interested in a guy like Brandon Marsh. Another team might not be. Like, it's about the match. It's about the way that these conversations evolve. So I know it's not black and white to say, will Crawford be here? But for the purposes of this conversation, like, I just look at this outfield, and I feel like in recent shows I've been using wins above replacement quite a bit to talk about this team. But, I mean, you just look at this outfield, and you go look at wins above replacement, and it is bad. Like, they could finish with a negative WAR, man. Like, it's that bad. And I'm like, there's just no way that this current outfield configuration can be the outfield configuration 3 weeks from now. So they've got to do something, and I think they're going to do I think there's dominoes that fall here. So that's why I'm asking the question this way. So then you start to talk about like right-handed bats that can come in. Like, what are your thoughts on a guy like I don't know? One of the names out here that I haven't talked about as much, but I've heard people kind of throw out there is Taylor Ward, who is under team control this year and next year before hitting restricted or unrestricted free agency in 27. low batting average, does have some pop though. Like, what do you think there?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't excite me really. It to me, Taylor Ward. I mean, yeah, can you hit home runs? Sure, and you need that. I'm not trying to dismiss that. Obviously, we talked about at the beginning, like that's what's missing for this team right now. They were more fun when they hit more home runs, but I think you're going in a direction where you got a guy who just doesn't get on base otherwise. And so if you're not getting that home run and you're plugging him out in left field, like he's a sub 300 on base percentage guy too, right? Yeah. Like I can't with that. Like that's where I really I draw a line with guys. Like, okay, 21 home runs, that's nice. You have 21 home runs and you can't even be an OPS over 780. Like, Come on, man. Like it's just not good. You complain about, people complain about Nick Castellanos. It's worse in my mind than Nick Castellanos, other than the fact that he hit some home runs. Like I don't know. I just have a hard time with it. I just don't like a guy who just doesn't walk, strikes out a lot. Like, it's the same. It's basically, all right. If it's not the worst, maybe it's the same thing. So if you're frustrated with Castellanos, you're gonna put another version of him on the other side.
Yeah, I'm at a place with talking about this team. I'll be honest with you. Like, be honest with the people listening to the show. I've reached my threshold for this current configuration. Quite honestly, I've said all I've needed to say about this team. Like, I don't have a whole lot more to say about this iteration of the Phillies. Like, I need to see the tweaks, and then I will be really entertaining, because they're either going to do the things I'm begging them to do, and I'm going to be at the front of the bandwagon for Red October, or I'm going to destroy them. I mean, I will be wicked the final 2 months of this season.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and there's no reason to not be critical if they don't do what they need to do here at the deadline. I'm sure we will have varying degrees of acceptance of what they do. It'll either be they hit it out of the park, they recognized all their weaknesses, they went and got everybody that they needed to get, all that stuff, and we're thrilled with it. They could have the complete opposite, where they don't get any of the things that you need, and everybody's mad as hell, pissed off at them. Or it could be somewhere in between, and you get a mix of the two. You get, some people are happy with it, some people are not happy with it, and that's kind of where I think it's going to be. I think just because a team is in it or is within arm's reach of the postseason doesn't mean that they can't make trades, and that they won't make trades that could help and impact the Phillies, right? Yeah. Like, it doesn't just, you can be 500 and still make a meaningful trade. You might be hedging a little bit, but like, look at what Boston did. They trade Devers. They've won 10 straight games. They're all of a sudden 3 games out of the division lead behind Toronto. They're a game behind the Yankees. They were left for dead 3 weeks ago, and here they are now. Like, teams can stay in it and still make moves, and I'm hopeful that that's what happens for the Phillies, because if you just play the game that we've been playing for the last 3 weeks, which is look at the standings and tell me which teams are slam dunk sellers, they're hard to find. I mean, we talked last week about the Orioles, and here they come. Now, they stumbled this weekend. They're still 9 under. They just can't quite seem to figure it out. 7.5 out. We talked about the AL Central, the Geld piece, how they're monitoring the AL Central teams, and the Twins and the Guardians. Like, both the Twins and the Guardians are now 6-4 in their last 10 games. Like, Cleveland's kind of gotten up off the mat, and like, they're back in it a little bit. 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. Like, there's no team that you can look at in this moment and say, well, they're going to sell. It's no doubt about it. So that's why I think, and the reason why I mention this is because Marsh is a guy that I think that they should have looked to trade over this past offseason. I like Brandon Marsh, but I think that he was a guy that could have changed the complexion of the team. You could have gotten something back, I think, that could have been useful in theory. Like, I'm not saying they didn't explore it or that they balked at it, but I think that he has some value out there. And I wonder if at this deadline, he's a guy that comes up in conversations, because so many teams probably are looking for usable pieces now, not just kick the can down the road, give me all your young guys, give me your single A dudes. I think that there's some teams that are in playoff contention and say, like, we can use a Brandon Marsh. We're willing to subtract from our bullpen to go get a guy that can play outfield for us 80% of the time.
Like, I just wonder if he's a guy that enters the mix here.
Well, I do think that he's in the conversation. I do think it's possible. But if you do that, right? Let's say you're trading Brandon Marsh, right? If you're in agreement with me that they're moving off of Max Kepler, now
I think it would make it more likely that Kepler sticks if you were to right now. Do you think right now that they have it like they're like Max Kepler's not going to be here? No doubt about it. Like
I think so.
Okay,
I do,
because I just wonder if they say like, well, we don't think he's going to be here, but
yeah,
if Marsh were to become part of a package, then
maybe you keep him. I guess it's possible. I just think that they're moving on from him before.
Well, to me, it's like do it Thursday.
Yeah, like I think
if that's the case, then just do it.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think it could be that soon.